Hey guys, it's Deborah with Sew in the Sanctuary. Robbie's going to be here in a minute. And it's been quite a hot minute since we've done a video, so we've taken a little bit of a long break. I think it's been maybe 5 months, I want to say, that we've not done a video. So we thought we would do one today. So thanks for joining us. And if you're new to the channel, which we haven't done one in a while, so maybe most of you are new, thanks for joining us as well. I wanted to share this with you. This is our garden, and it's a little bit of a hot mess right now, as you can see. But we still have a lot of weeding and all the fun things that we have to do. I do want to say, though, I think it's pretty cool that this petunias from last season came back. And not only did they come back, they came back with a vengeance. So pretty excited about that. We actually started those seeds last garden season. And typically petunias are not perennials. Typically all of my luck with petunias in my experience have been nothing but annuals. But evidently these seeds did really well, and we have petunias, so that's exciting. We have this garden bed, as you can see, it has settled tremendously. So we're going to do a little bit of adding some soil to that. And I want to say, Robbie's with us. Hey, say hey, babe.
What's up?
Hey, I wanted to ask, when did we put these tarps down? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, probably in February.
Yeah, it was in the winter. So we did come out here on a warm day back in February, and we did till up the soil because we wanted to kind of mix it in good. We put these black tarps, as you see. We put those on the ground just to kind of help with weed control, and I'm so glad we did because we've been very, very busy and we have not had time to come out here. We've really kind of neglected this space, but
Been soccer season.
yeah, we've been doing soccer, so we haven't had a whole lot of time. And typically, I want to say that we usually have our vegetables and all the things planted by now. It is the last weekend in April, and we typically have everything done by now, but it just didn't happen this year, and that's okay. So we're going to use this weekend. We had a game earlier today, but we had a little bit of daylight time left, so we're going to come out here and we're going to get up these bricks. We're going to put them back on that pile over there, and we're going to get up the tarps. We're going to see what we're messing with here, but luckily we did put this black tarp down to kind of save with the weed control. So we're going to till up this this soil. Hopefully it's not too bad. We put some good dirt in here last year. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of pesticide damage from that soil, so we kind of wanted to put the soil back to rest so that it could have time to kind of nurture itself back to health, and hopefully we are on our way. We did go and buy purchase this morning from one of our local landscaping locals here. This place sells lots of soil, mulch. They even sell gravel and those types of things for landscaping materials. We went ahead and bought a truckload of soil. So we went to Lowe's, the big box store, I want to say last night. We priced some good compost, and I want to say it was close to, I can't remember, but I know it was expensive for one bag, close to maybe 12 bucks. And we got this entire truckload. You can't really see it because obviously the tarp, we've not undone the tarp yet, but this is pretty good compost mix. It's got some fertilizer already in it, the guy told us. It's got a pretty good texture to it. You can see the color is nice and rich. So we ended up spending much less than we would have if we would have bought this much in comparison to how much we did get in bulk. If we would have just bought the bags individually, it would have been a lot more. So I would suggest, if you are doing a gardening project and you still have to add soil to your garden space, to maybe check out one of your local landscaping places who sell this type of thing. I think you'll come out better economically in the long run. So just a little bit of a suggestion there. So we're gonna see what Robbie's doing. Oh, he's pulling back the tarp already. And soil looks nice and rich. I can see some little critters. And when you see worms such as this, that's always a good indicator that the soil is good. So I'm gonna grab a shovel. And see if I see any more worm activity. That's gonna be on our side if that is the case. All right, so I had to pause that video just a moment ago, and I had to come inside. I had to break away for just a few minutes. We have 2 extra kiddos with us tonight. The boys invited a friend over each, and so I had to come in and make them some dinner. Robbie had put on some ribs earlier, so that's going to be tasty, and I just had to come in and make a couple of sides for the kiddos, and then I had to make Robbie and myself a salad to go with the ribs. So I'm done with that. Make sure I turn everything off. The oven's off, so we're good. I'm going to head back outside and see what Robbie's been up to. I think he did pull those tarps back. He got all the bricks up, and I think he's busy pulling some weeds out of the container beds. So last season we did some gardening, not only in the ground, but we actually did some container gardening as well. We wanted to kind of experiment with both. And I'm not really sure just yet which one I like more. But I will say this, the container gardening, hold on, my kids. I think they're stuck. Oh.
I was trying to stay out of it and let them learn how to do something, but it looks like they need my help. So.
The joy of raising boys. So they went, I guess, on a 4-wheeler excursion with their buddies, and they ran out of gas. So now Dad has to go and help with that. That's the fun thing about raising kids. You try to give them a little bit of freedom. They're at that age where we want them to start kind of problem solving on their own, but they still need Dad's help. But as I was saying a moment ago, I was trying to think earlier this morning whether I like container gardening better or the in-ground gardening better, and I absolutely will say this. I do know this. Container gardening is a lot easier. And it's easier in the regards of, you know, the joy of planting and the whole beginning of making a garden. All of that's fun. But right in the midst of garden season, I'm just going to be real, it's a lot of work. I mean, a lot of work. You're out here in July, August especially. Sun's beating down on you. You're pouring sweat. You're working so incredibly hard. And when I'm having to bend over constantly for the in-ground garden, it's just a little sore on my back. And I will say that in that regard, I do love my container gardens because it's not as hard on me. It's easier for me to pick the vegetables because the harvesting is the hardest part. And I will say that it's not my most favorite part because it's a lot of work. You harvest so much food, and then you have to put it up. And so with it being difficult on you and hard on your back, in that regard, I would say the container gardening is my favorite because it's easily accessible. It comes up to probably my thigh here, so I'm not having to bend down completely over like I do in my in-ground gardens. You probably just heard some shotguns going off. We live kind of out in the middle of nowhere, kind of out in the country, and so our neighbors, they like to come out sometimes and do that, so that's what you're hearing. And of course, I tell the kids to be careful not to go on that side of the property, and so they're not. I'm making sure of that. But it looks like I can show you this container garden today was completely, let me put it where you can see it. This was completely full of weeds today. And it looks like Robbie, when I was inside preparing some dinner, he was able to come out here and get this completely weeded out. And then we do have this other container garden. You can see it still has weeds in it. So I'm going to tackle that real quick. And then that may be all we get to do today. Unfortunately, not as much as I had hoped, but it is progress. So he did get both tarps off both gardening spaces, and I did get my shovel a moment ago when I checked, and I did see lots of worm activity. So that's a good indicator that the soil has healed from last season. I don't know if you understood what I was talking about earlier, but we did have a lot of pesticides, herbicide material in the soil that we had purchased from a company last year. And it really stunted a lot of the growth of our plants, especially our tomatoes, last season, which was quite disappointing. But we still harvested some, but not near as much as we have in years past. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. So we're just going to take extra precaution this garden season. We're going to put that soil that I was showing you on the trailer earlier. We're going to cover this bed both, and my garden containers as well. We're going to cover that with the soil. We're going to mend it really well. We're going to get the tiller out tomorrow morning, mend the soil really well. We may even get to do that tonight. We're also going to put in some charcoal that helps break down anything in the soil that is not organic material. It kind of helps break that down faster. We're going to leave it in the soil for 24 hours before we plant anything. And honestly, we'll probably do 48 hours just to be safe. And hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be ready to do our planting midweek. And that'll be exciting. So we're going to tackle this bed. We're going to do some de-weeding, and then we'll go eat some dinner. And if there's still time after dinner, we'll come out here and do some tilling. We have eaten dinner and we have tried to get back out to the garden space and till the soil, but as soon as we got out there after dinner, the bottom fell out. And I mean, it fell out. It just started raining so crazy. So just cleaned up some dishes, and Robbie has taken the trailer back up to the barn so that the soil is not just sitting out. And that way we can get back out there to the garden, hopefully tomorrow, to get that space prepared. Our hope is, if all goes well after church tomorrow, we will get to do that. So I've just cleaned up the dinner dishes and I'm watching my kiddos. It's kind of dark out here, so I don't know if you can see it very well, but after dinner they asked if they could come out here and go for an evening kayak ride, and I was like, well, it's raining. But then as soon as I said that, it actually let up, and so they're out here going for a little kayak tour, which is great because that means they're outside, and I'm all about them being outside. So here they are. Check it out. So it started raining. The boys are still out there kayaking. They wanted to go look for frogs. So I've come into the shop to see what old Robbie's up to. What you doing, babe? So if you've been watching the channel, I think we did a video last time. It was in the winter. We were still working on stairs. But the stairs are done because, you know, that was like 5 months ago since we've done the videos. So the stairs are in. And we've actually sealed the floor, and Robbie has moved all of his stuff into this space, but everything is in disarray still. I know that's kind of driving him nuts, but one day, right? One step in front of the other. That's what we keep telling ourselves. Otherwise, we just get overwhelmed. But we're closer than we were. He is looking for a tool because the other day I actually got on the lawnmower and I was kind of a weird girl, I guess. I'm not like, I guess, too afraid to get my hands dirty. I was outside. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty, rather. And so, yeah, the other day I was outside riding the lawnmower and I was cutting grass and I was what's the word? What's the word I'm trying to think of?
You're pooting along.
I was pooting along. Is that the word I'm trying to think of?
Yeah.
And then it just stopped. Stopped. Could not move it. Thought I broke the lawnmower and I was like, crap. Robbie, come out here. And so he came out there and come to find out this little belt thingy. What's it called, babe?
Drive belt. That's the belts for the blades, but the drive belt's underneath. You can't see it.
So you can't see it from on top, but the
I
drive belt
gotta take this belt off.
has it's deteriorated. It was like almost cut in half. We have worn that thing out. And actually, I mean, it lasted pretty long. I want to say for 5 years, which to me, that sounds like...
Have we had this thing 5 years?
Yeah. Right?
For real?
Yeah, I want to say that's
Well, I guess so.
pretty good, right? For
as long as we've lived here.
for a belt, I thought that was pretty dang good. So
We
he
got
is
we
out.
got all the goodie out of it.
So that's what was wrong with it. I did not break it. So he actually purchased one online. It came in one day this last week, and that's what we're out here doing now. We're trying to, well, he is trying to change this belt. So apparently he has to take the whole bottom deck off.
No, just part of it.
Just this part. So that's what he's out here doing, and he had to find the tool to do it, and he actually was able to find it. But yeah, he's changing that out, and hopefully we'll be able to cut some grass this upcoming week because we desperately need to get that task done as well. We live on 16 acres, and out of that 16 acres, I would say 8 acres of that is grass. Right, babe? 6? Even the pasture?
The pasture's about 5.
I'm talking about the whole property.
Well, that's 5, and we probably got an acre and a half around the house.
And then
If
up to
that.
the driveway, maybe another. I'm going to say about 7 acres of grass to cut, which isn't terribly awful. But we've not been able to do it this season. I think we've only done it once, and it needs to be done. So that's what we're out here doing. It's raining outside. It's sprinkling. And so this just gives us a good time to do it. The kids are still out there kayaking. It's getting dark, as you can see. I hear the bullfrogs in the pond coming alive, and I'm starting to see lightning bugs. So I'm getting excited. We only have 4 more weeks of school, and summer is coming. So hopefully you'll see a lot more of us. Did you want to say anything before we jet out?
Jet out on my jet plane. What's that song?
I'm leaving here on a jet plane.
Leaving here on a jet plane.
All right, I guess not. So until we see you next time, make sure you're sowing your seed to create your wonderful sanctuary. All right, talk to you soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.